Okay, welcome back to the session. Hope I'm audible. Yeah. Okay. We'll just wait for 2 more minutes so 50% of people join, then we'll start the session. Okay, fine. Let us not wait. We'll start. Okay. We are discussing about the SCBA, self-contained breathing operator. It is type of PPE. It is used for emergency cases, rescue operations, or any the short-term activity in highly hazardous atmospheres or risky areas. So it is clear that instead of not providing food or suction on the flying particles, there is no meaning of giving a respirator to the worker. It is mean that we should always focus on the elimination part. It is not that you are having completely dust in the work area. You are just saying that simply given a mask, okay, chalega. No, we try to should minimize the hazard or eliminate the hazard. As a last remedy, you should give this mask as a to controller or add a additional measure. Instead of providing guard on grinding wheel, it is meaningless to provide eye protection to the workers. So if there is a grinding machine, angle grinding machine, the wheel itself it is not protected with any guard. So you are simply giving a eye protection to the worker. It is not going to give any sense. So first of all, we have to minimize the hazards. Then, for the residual hazard, we can give the PPE. Now we'll see what the need of PPEs can be well judged from. How you can assess the need of PPE. And PPE యొక్క అవసరాన్ని మనం ఎలా కనిపెట్టవచ్చు. One is visual and foreseeable hazards. So these are the hazards which are visible and also foreseeable or predictable. What are the hazards you have predicted? Or I can say potential hazards. Other way of telling is potential hazards. Then accident experiences. So this is also one. Report of the safety committee and also representatives. So accident experiences. We'll take our learnings from the accidents. A report of the safety committee or representatives. Then safety audits, surveys, sampling, job safety analysis, and also risk assessment. Then local requirements or remarks from the authorities, a record of medical department. These are the various areas we can able to get a judgment on PPE's requirement. And also the need of PPEs exists because of why we need to give the PPE. Because of maybe a failure of engineering controls, material processes, equipment, safety devices cannot be denied. And also these circumstances, the PPE can act as a barrier between men and also the hazard. Whenever the safety controls get fails, so the PPE can some sort of protection can give it to the people. There are certain operations or accidental situations where the engineering controls are less possible and also the PPE become necessary for repair or maintenance or to enter into the toxic or oxygen deficient atmospheres or while working at height or doing jobs like welding, cutting, grinding, chipping or baking. Sometimes these are required while doing repairs of a certain equipments. Next. It effectively avoids the contact of dangerous substances, noise, vibration, and radiation, and it protects from atmosphere conditions. And it is also a legal as well as a moral duty to provide suitable PPEs. If you see a Factories Act, there it is a legal requirement that all required PPEs has to be given to the workers on free of cost. And also it is a moral duty. వాళ్ళ యొక్క వ్యక్తిగత బాధ్యత. They should give PPEs. And it is a legal as well as a moral duty to provide suitable PPEs based on the hazard. Then what are the statutory provisions? Legal requirements ఏమున్నాయి? If you see the statutory requirements, and no specific personal protective equipment is named by the factory side, but the working conditions mentioned in those so and so sections, the people should give PPEs without any charge. And if you see, it should be provided by the occupier with respect to the hazards in due to the dust, fumes, gas, vapor, flying particles, glare, or revolving machinery, hot or dangerous contents, entry in confined spaces, explosive or flammable atmosphere, fire and dangerous operations, etc., etc. Now we'll see various Indian standards with respect to the various types of PPs. అంటే రకరకాల PPS కు మనకి different IS codes అనేవి ఉందంటే those PPs has to be made as per that IS code. Okay. One is head protection. Here the helmets, industrial safety, which is 2925. For two-wheeler, it is 4151. And non-metallic for police force, it is 9562. And other helmets, which is for other activities. And if you see eye and face protection, guide for selection of eye, face, and also ear protection. These are the various Indian standards. ఇవన్నీ కూడా ఏంటంటే రకరకాలైన ఐఎస్ స్టాండర్డ్స్, బ్యూరో ఆఫ్ ఇండియన్ స్టాండర్డ్స్. ఏదైనా పీపీఈ కూడాను మినిమం ఈ ఇండియన్ స్టాండర్డ్స్ ని బేస్ చేసుకొని తయారు చేసి ఉండాలి. వాయిస్ ఏం వినిపించట్లేదు. వాట్ అబౌట్ అదర్స్? ఎనీబడి హ్యావింగ్ వాయిస్ ఇష్యూ? ఎవరికైనా వాయిస్ ఇష్యూ ప్రాబ్లం ఉందా? Okay, I think others are able to hear me properly. Can you please rejoin? Fine. So if you see the ear protection, which is ear plugs or ear muffs, these are the Indian standards. You can refer these standards for further detail so that you'll get more clarity. Then hands and feet, these are the other kind of Indian standards. Okay. Now we'll see selection and classification. How we can select, and then how you can classify them. So if you see the selection, proper type and equipment, which is very much required. And also we have to make sure that the supervisors sees it and then that workers uses and maintain it correctly. And proper selection, training and use of PPEs are essential. So it is not that only providing to the PPE, we should also ensure that the people are using properly in the shop floor. The supervisor has to monitor. Now we'll see what are the factors of selection or requisite the characteristics of people. What is the selection factors? While selecting a PPE, what are the parameters you should check? Okay. Number one, it should give adequate protection against the nature, severity, and also type of the hazard. So we should check for what kind of PPE or what type of PPE we have given. It should be meet the requirement. It is not mean that okay, for the high concentrated areas, you have given a low concentrated respirator. It will not work. So we should choose a suitable kind of PPE. Then it should be minimum weight. It should give minimum discomfort with the protective efficiency. So this is also very important. while you're choosing PPE, it should give a proper comfort to the user. If your PPE is not giving any comfort level to the user, they should never use it properly. So you should make sure that they are using the PPs properly and the PPs which are giving proper comfort. కంఫర్ట్ లేకపోతే ఏముందంటే వాళ్ళు చెప్తారు సార్ స్వెట్టింగ్ వస్తుంది, ఇది గుచ్చుకుంటుంది, అక్కడ కొట్టుకుంటుంది, ఇక్కడ కొట్టుకుంటుంది. సో దట్ వీ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ PPE which should give proper comfort to the people. Attachment to the body should be flexible yet effective. And also while using, it should be flexible, it should not be so harsh. And the wearer should not be restricted in movement and also the perception required for the job. So whoever is using, it should not restrict the movement. For example, he is using a gloves, he should able to fold his all the fingers properly. He should not say that, okay, I can't able to move my fingers. He should able to use and he should able to perform activity as per the requirement. It should be durable and also attractive. So it should give automatically, it should give the long life. It is not mean that okay, आज पहनेगा तो कल ही टूट जाए और कल ही पड़ जाए. అంటే ఒక కొన్ని రోజులు పాటు మనకి ఉపయోగపడేలాగా ఉండాలి. And it should not cause any hazard through its material, design, defect, use or failure. This is the other way of requirement. So because of nature of material it made, it should not give any discomfort or it should not make any problem. It should not make any issue to the user. And it should conform the Indian standards and also test requirements as I mentioned before. And it should be easy to clean, repair, maintain the parts, pieces, and also service should be easily available. It should ensure that all the services are available. And also it should be easy to clean and repair. Okay. Now we'll see these types of PPEs. PPEs, as I mentioned, respiratory and non-respiratory. We have respiratory here and non-respiratory. In the respiratory, there are other types again: air purifying, chemical filters, mechanical filters, dust, then supplied air. This is also other type of respiratory equipment. Here we have air-lined, then self-contained breathing apparatus. So if you see chemical filters, the chemical gas mask, chemical cartridge or self-rescue filters. And then mechanical, they use for the dust or any noxious filter or microfibers. And some of them are combined. They can able to filter chemical as well as dust particles. Then these are supplied air. These are not the filters. You will give the breathing air to that respirator, airline respirator, suction hose mask or pressure hose mask or hood air supply suits. So air supply suit is that the suit itself have a provision with the nozzle. You can directly connect the breathing air to that suit so that he will be breathing inside the suit itself. Then self-contained, which is a damaged type or open circuit, compressed air or compressed oxygen, or recircuiting type, which is a closed loop. If the closed is open, is the difference is the open is, so whatever you're consumed from the SCBA, it will not go to the system again. So if you are once you have exhaled, it will become empty. If it is a closed loop, some sort of your exhaled air again filtered, again it will give some extra time. That's all. That is the major difference. Closed loop in the sense your exhaled air will be filtered again. In an open loop, whatever you are exhaled will not be come back. Comparatively, the closed loop will have more duration. Here you will get more duration or the time I can say. Here the less time compare with closed circuit. Now, if you see a non-respiratory PPs, you have seen respiratory. If you see non-respiratory, all these things will come: helmet, gargle, face shield, earplugs, ear muffs, safety shoes. Everything will come in non-respiratory equipment or personal protection equipment. Okay. Now we'll see some of the PPs and where they can be used. Okay. Safety helmet. One is hard hat, falling objects, hitting against obstructions such as low or ceiling beams, scaffolds or members, and characteristics generally made of aluminum alloy or PVC, fiber, glass, or any vulcanized fiber, saddles, etc. An electrical safety helmet. This will be used for electric shock when working on uh, live electrical lines. And welder's cap, falling welding spatters from the above, and crash helmets. This is used for the road accident. Generally, while riding a bike, we use this helmets. Those helmets are called crash helmets. మనం బండి నడిపేటప్పుడు వేసుకునే హెల్మెట్స్ ని మనం crash helmets అంటాము. Then ear protection. So ear protection generally, as we seen in IS 102, the permissible decibels or noise dosage is 90 dBA decibels. Is a hazardous for the exposure more than 8 hours. For 90 decibels, 8 hours is the safe exposure time. If you are exposing more than 8 hours, it is going to harmful to your hearing system. It may cause deafness or fatigue, loss of efficiency, irritation, and also a loss of hearing. The noise level can be measured by a noise average meter or a noise dose meter. And the earplugs, earmuffs reduced to 25 to 40 dBA. And the earplug is made of plastic or rubber or polyethylene foam, and earmuffs covers an external ear and provides better attenuation than earplugs. So comparatively, instead of earplug, earmuffs are more useful or effective to reduce the noise. And this noise can be measured by noise average meters or noise dose meters. The average meters will be continuously monitored. It can take the hours of duration or monthly data or weekly data. Dose meters will be the immediate day we can see that. Face and eye protection. The eye injuries can be caused by mechanical or chemical or thermal radiation hazards. There are many reasons or there are many hazards with respect to face and eye protection. The eye injuries can be caused by these kind of hazards. You can see large flying particles, dust and small flying particles, splashing and also metal forms, etc. And chipping, cutting or riveting, etc., etc. These are also the major hazards which leads to face and eye injuries. Then hand and arm protection. The protection of hands and arms are required when workers are have to handle materials having sharp end and also the sharp edges, hot and molten metals or chemicals or corrosive substances. And the protective equipment may be gloves or wrist gloves or mixing gloves. There are n number of types of gloves to protect our hands and arms. So if you see a material, asbestos or chrome, nowadays asbestos are not there. It has been banned. No more the asbestos gloves are available. Chrome leather or flame preferred plastic, rubber, chemical resistant material, reflective fabric or plastic, other different types of gloves are available in the market to protect from various types of hazards. Now we'll see a glove material selection should be as per the requirement. How we can choose the a glove material requirement. If you see a natural rubber glove or stretchable and also highly resistant to punches, they may perform well in mild caustic and also a ketone based solutions in the temperature ranging from 0 to 300 degree Fahrenheit, 300. These gloves work well for the job which require handling rough materials and also sharp edges objects such as plate, glass, or any rubber. And if you see neoprene is a premium grade synthetic rubber gloves coated with a neoprene or resistant to the strong acids. So this neoprene gloves are used for handling of chemicals. And nitrile, this is also one of the kind of rubber. These gloves also are used for handling of various kinds of materials. And also it is able to handle a 25 degree Fahrenheit to 300 degree Fahrenheit. Then Winton gloves, especially for the resisting chemical penetration. And PVC, this is also plastic gloves resistant of a broad range of chemicals. PVC, I can say this is a well suitable gloves for most of the chemicals, I can say. Many of the chemicals can be handled by using this PVC gloves. Then butyl rubber, this is also one of the gloves which is used to handle the chemicals. Latex also, latex we can say surgical gloves or disposable gloves, which is also a chemical handling gloves, I can say. So these are the different types of gloves against the protection. So I'm not going through this. You can refer once I share this presentation. Then food protection. Some of the typical risks are handling of heavy materials. So we can say puncture, or people may step on the projected nails, or material may fall on their toes and feet, or they may hit against the objects which are on the pathway. So this is also a super requirement for people who are working in industries as well as construction works. Or sometimes with chemicals also, it may fall on that. We can use the rubber gloves or sorry, rubber boots or gum boots for the people who are handling the chemicals. Some typical risk will be heavy metals, caustic and corrosive liquids, or wet conditions, molten metals, etc. And common foot and leg protective equipment are safety shoes or boots and leggings and foot guards and leg guards, etc. And knees or pads are also used for protecting the toes. And if you see the selection, the safety shoes and boots may be conductive or non-conductive or spark resistant Rubber boots are used for the work in the wet conditions, and steel toe boots against the impact, and also puncture resistant soles to prevent walk on surfaces having nails and sharp objects. There are different kinds of requirements, non-conductive or conductive. So for the mechanical people or maintenance people will give the non-conductive shoes, and for other people have the conductive shoes, and they also have a fiber toe. The maintenance people and other people may have the metal toe, but both will give the same kind of protection. So conductive shoes allows the draining of the static charge. So conductive shoes, we have discussed about static charge. So whenever it gets generated, the conductive shoes allows to go off. It won't store. The conductive shoes are used where the floors are non-conductive and also the ground, such as in manufacture of certain explosive components and the while cleaning tanks that have contained solvent or any volatile hydrocarbons. And these shoes have conductive soles and also own ferrous metals and parts. And foundry workers should wear the feature and also the Congress type of safety shoes for the fasteners and also the laces and also rapidly removable type. So some of them have will have the lace and some of them will not have the lace. That is the major difference. Then body and skin protections. These are like, as I told you, coat or vest, aprons, overall jackets, and also complete head to toe protection, etc. These also have multiple protection, can protect you from the splashes, radiant heat, or flying particles, etc., etc. Then types of body protection. If you see body protection or safety belts, so the PVC coated fabric suits under we have seen, and safety belt. This is also one of the life-saving equipment where if the person is working on 1.8 meters and above, they must use a full body harness or safety belt to protect from falling from height. Okay. So if you see the hazards with respect to the skin, we have seen various types of PPEs. So if you see with respect to the hazards to the skin, which are physical, like environmental in the sense the atmosphere, heat, sun, cold, radiation. If you see mechanical blowers or pressure, any abrasion, cuts or uh, scrapes, etc., laceration or any puncture injuries. And with respect to chemicals, what will happen? We may come across with burns or dermatitis, ulcers or cancer, etc. And plant products may be irritation, laceration, itching, then dermatitis, etc., etc. We'll see the preventive measures should include. What kind of preventive measures can be taken? So if you see the preventive measures, frequent skin washing using proper cleaners. So we should use a proper cleaners to wash out the contaminants or the chemicals which we have exposed. Then changing of the contaminated clothing and washing and also drying the clothes properly. Once you have get contaminated, we should remove the cloths which you have exposed to the chemical and remove the irritants or chemicals, including oils, by effective washing using shower or bath. So once you have to take a good bath to take out the contaminants or which you have exposed. Then wash immediately the cuts or scraps or punches, etc., and apply the antiseptic bands and seek the medical advice. Why it is required? The chemicals will have tendency to go inside or get in contact with our bloodstream. If the skin is damaged, it is more easy for the chemical to go inside our body. So any cuts or damage are there, we have to wash out immediately. And then use appropriate PPE to provide skin or fingers, foot and body. Select appropriate goggles, gloves, footwear, apron, and overalls, and also clothing is important. And avoid loose clothing and also expose the skin or by the body part to the moving machinery. Apart from this, we should also protect from the mechanical hazards. By using tight fittings, we can safeguard ourselves from the rotating parts. And barrier cream to protect against the dermatitis, lubricants, and also solvents, and also hydrocarbons. We should also use the barrier creams or the protection, the layers. I can give the best example as sunscreen lotions we use for the people who go and exposed with the sun. They used to have this sunscreen lotion to protect against. Then respiratory equipment. We see a respiratory equipment. This respiratory is an act of inhalation, fresh air into the lungs, and also exhaling the stale air from them. So what we do? First we'll inhale and then we'll exhale. What will exhale? The balance or the along with the carbon dioxide, some sort of oxygen percent also we will exhale. When we breathe in and out, our chest cavity, housing and lungs expand and also contract. And entire rib cage covering around the chest is flexible and also expands readily by the special muscles. All we know this process. Whenever you breathe, what will happen? Your chest muscles will expand, your chest muscle will extend. So we'll see the nose, mouth, and upper throat, larynx or trachea, or bronchi, all air passages. These are the various air passages which is inside our body. And the lungs where oxygen is passed into the blood and carbon dioxide expelled are the respiratory organs that form the respiratory system. Lungs, what will happen? It will transfer or it will supply oxygen to all the organs inside our body. And the diaphragm and also chest muscles perform the movement of the inspiration and expiration. What is the inspiration and expiration? Inhale and exhale activity.